Well, folks, here we are for the desert racers and the desert community, the famous, infamous wagon wheel. In case you haven't noticed, it's just me out here today. Today's actually my birthday. I am 52 years old today. And it's the middle of the week, so naturally, everybody's working. Except for me, I took off the week from work just because. And just thought, let's just go out for a ride. So we're in the Spangler Hills area, parked at the Wagon Wheel, as I just mentioned a second ago. And I don't really ride here very often. I've been out here twice. Once for a desert race, and once about like 4 years ago now. Brought the wife out, we did a little day ride. That's about it. So we're just going to come on out and do some exploring. I don't have a huge agenda for today. I do have some idea of what I want to do. At some point, I'd really like to make my way over to the Pinnacles, the Trona Pinnacles. There's a couple of cool old mine spots out here that maybe we'll run into, maybe we won't, I don't know. But I think at some point I'd like to get the family out or get some people out and, maybe do some camping out here. It's pretty neat out here, pretty good riding, a little bit of a change in scenery from the usual places. And much like Lucerne Valley, the terrain's only as hard as you want it to be. You can take whatever trails you want to take. But there's some pretty cool stuff out here. So, you might also notice that I've got, a jacket on. It's supposed to get up close to about 80 degrees here. I don't know if that'll really happen, but you can probably tell it's very, very windy. And today is the day after Memorial Day, And the last few days have been pretty warm, but it is not warm today. So if it warms up, obviously I can just take my jacket off, shove it in the back box back there. But anyway, just gonna do some cool riding and exploring, I think, today. Ooh, yeah. The rains over the last few years have not been very kind to some of these trails. That's okay, I don't mind. I like difficult trails. Can I go down that one? Why not? Sure. I'm not by any means saying that was difficult. It was a little bumpy, a little bit washed out. That's about it. As I mentioned, I am out here by myself, and I do have all of my safety equipment. I've got 2 first aid kits. One in the back of the quad there, and one in the vest on my back. Obviously, I have my GPS devices. I've got my handy GPS map thing there, and I do have the tracker there running, so my family can see exactly where I'm at roughly every 5 minutes or so. But I can also send for help and all those things if I need it. We're not going to do anything crazy today. We don't plan on being too nuts, so the likelihood of needing help pretty slim, but it's always fantastic to be prepared. Well, this area looks pretty cool. Let's see if we can explore it a bit. Obviously, this was the area, or was an area of some mining activities. I know it's not needed, but we're just going to go ahead and put it in low in four-wheel drive. Well, there's a little shaft there that's been kind of either collapsed or filled in. Well, that's probably potentially the mine shaft there. Let's go down this way and see where this goes. Oh, there's more trail over here. Rock. There's another vertical shaft there. Look, that's the majority of the kind of mines and shafts, I think, that you find in this area are going to be those vertical ones, so you really got to be careful. Not all of them are marked or what have you. Does this keep going up? Certainly does. Holy cow, where does this go? I don't know. Well, already we're like 10 minutes in and we're adventuring. Man, I tell you, this is good germs off-road adventuring right here. I bet we're going to find a spectacular view on the other side here. Right here, there's no wind. Just saying. Wow. Yeah, look at that view down there. That's cool. Do we keep going up? I don't know. It looks like it gets pretty rough up there, so I think we probably go ahead and turn around. I don't have anybody else here to catch me if I fall, if you will, so let's go back down. Another trail right there. Well, still, that's pretty cool. Probably didn't come out on the camera too good about halfway up that hill. there was some rocks that were really going to prevent us from getting over easily. I'm sure we would have been fine, but not worth risking it when we're alone. We came up from over here. Can we go down over here? That was a rock. Oh yeah. This is fine. Where does it go this way? I don't know. I don't think it probably goes much further. Top of this little canyon is right here. Yeah, that's gonna be about it. Cool. Alright, we'll head back down to the trail we were on and continue on our adventuring way. Oh yeah. So those mines that we just saw up there, this is going to be where they processed a lot of it. And I think we saw some of this before, but I came out here with the wife. You can see some water storage there. There is a little mine shaft here. You probably can't tell or see it on the camera, but there's a gate there. You can't go in there. It's welded shut, most likely. Let's see what this was here. Hard to say. Hard to say. Maybe more water storage. It's lined, so probably. Oh yeah, and then here's some foundations here. Remember seeing those before? We'll come down and get a look at them. There's probably more water storage there. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's stairs right there. I remember the stairs. Foundation, there's wood coming out. Pretty cool stuff. Okay. Back on a trail. Oh, little bump. I do like a wide open wash. Look at this cool thing. I mean, it's obviously very clear what it was. But if you look here, we've got a portal here. Maybe I can get a better angle of it. I'm being a little lazy and not wanting to get off the quad, so there we go. There's a little portal here, which is sure to be blocked off. Well, how did I get... All right. The mirrors are cool, but they don't show you the terrain anyway. Let's go have a look at that up there, because that's going to be your main shaft up there. Oh yeah, look how big this one is. That's cool. Let's see if we can look down inside a little bit. Well, this is pretty neat right here. I don't know what it's for. Probably to anchor something. It goes at a that way sort of angle. I tell you what, they waste no expense in making these. Oh, it's all caved in anyway. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, they spare no expense in steel, in engineering, making these supports, or these covers, not supports, making these covers. They want to make sure that the public is safe. Oh, look at that. Some more switchbacks up that way. Let's maybe go see what that's all about. Shall we? Well, there's that one there. Let's see if we can do this one. So far, all of this has been in pretty good shape. Oh, that trail would have just brought us to right there. Saw that coming. Yep. Cool portal there, and you can see it's blocked off as well. So now we gotta just find a way down. Can we go down this way? We probably can, but we're not going to. It's a little on the steep side. That lower level right there, I think, is not going to have a mine. There's a rock I hit. Yep. Let's put it in low. Just... Okay. Well, I calculate that's going to be the end of all this. So, back down to trail riding. Woof, that wind is crazy. Caught a gust of wind that shook my helmet. I see shiny things right there. That can only mean one thing. Railroad tracks. Why are we turning this way? I don't know. The quad just turned this way. Why did it do that? I don't know. Okay. Huh. That'd be why. We're at a road. RM 143 to be exact. We're going to make a left. So we're pretty much on Pinnacle Road. This is the road that's going to take us to the Pinnacles. We're going to be on this for a while. I think we'll use this time maybe to talk about Wagon Wheel a little bit.
So Charlie's Place was originally started by a woman named Alice who was married in 1944 to a fella named Bill Lewis, because why wouldn't you name a place Charlie's Place when your name is Alice and you're married to a guy named Bill? Anyway, they were avid rock hounds and started a business in 1943 cutting and polishing gemstones and bookends, making other sorts of things, and it was called Knott's Rock Hound Club, and then later was renamed Indian Wells Valley Gem and Mineral Society. It's not really clear when Alice opened up the beer parlor, which she named Alice's Wagon Wheel Beer Parlor, but she lived at that location for her last 23 years. In 1951, Bill died, and 8 years later, in 1959, Alice married Charlie Moore. Now we understand why it might be called Charlie's Place. He was a machinist with the Knott's Rockhound Club on the China Lake base nearby. They continued to operate Alice's Wagon Wheel Beer Parlor until 1967, when Alice died and the Wagon Wheel was shut down, but Charlie reopened it a time later. It was around that time the state of California mandated that you could not sell alcohol without food, so Charlie began serving sandwiches, sodas, pizza, and whatever else he was serving. But he remarried and continued to run the Wagon Wheel Beer Parlor. That's really hard to say, folks. But the locals just referred to it as Charlie's. In the late 80s, Charlie's second wife became quite ill, and they moved to Ridgecrest, to the hospital there, and it was shortly after that that Charlie's Place burnt down. For those of us who were wondering why the area was renamed Wagon Wheel Off-Road Staging Area by the BLM, now you know the whole story, and kudos to the BLM for remembering Alice and her beer parlor. The cement slabs that you see there, that's all that remained today, and that was actually the patio. There was a trailer is what they actually lived in, and those slabs had a patio, and there was a covered roof. Looks to me like the sign that's still here, that we've got some video footage that y'all have probably been watching for the last couple minutes. It kind of looks like that sign is standing where the edge of that patio was, at least from the photographs that you can see. Anyway, Charlie's Place. And now on to the Pinnacles.
Or railroad tracks, and these are all railroad tracks that go to Trona, which I know is not going to come out on the camera, but it's way out there against the foothill. It's really hazy out today, but it's out there. And, you know, it's a bit of a bummer. You know, Trona, that whole city, town out there exists because of the borax mining. And I just saw recently, maybe a month ago, that it's being completely shut down. So now you're going to have this town out here that won't have a reason to exist anymore, just like many other mining town, which kind of is a bummer. You know, I'm hoping that it survives. I mean, there are still some residents there. A lot of the people that work there actually probably, I think, lived over in Ridgecrest, which is, I don't know, maybe an hour away, maybe. But yeah, it's a bummer that that's going to completely shut down. Anyway, enough of the bummer stuff, and let's explore in the Pinnacles. I think I'm going to take my goggles off. We're going to go slow anyway. Oh, that's better. Oh, hi there. Yeah. Still need the glasses. Can't see without them. And there's some marked camping spots and parking spots around here too, so you can set up and camp. Like there's one directly in front of us there. From pavement, that Pinnacle Road heads up to highway, whatever that is up there. I can't remember the name of the highway. But I think it's like 5 miles. It's not the most pleasant 5-mile road, but it's like 5 miles. Now, Massimo, if you're watching this, you know, I brought one of my flags, but it was so windy, I just really didn't feel like putting it on. Sorry. There seems to be some sort of plaque right here. Trona Pinnacles, registered national landmark under the protection of historic sites. 1968. It's pretty cool. Oh, we've got some vault toilets. That's nice of them to put that there in case you needed them. BLM actually does a pretty good job of maintaining those. Well, let's maybe go on a walkabout right there. Yeah, let's see, where's a good place to park the old ATV? Let's park him down here. next to the fire pit for no reason at all.
Well, let me tell you, it is some kind of windy. I mean, I know my microphone here's got a wind buff on it, but I don't think that's going to probably help. So, if it doesn't help, then I guess what we'll do is voiceover, put some music, I don't know. All I can say is that the volume meter on the receiver for the microphone is pretty well maxed out. And we're not even talking when it does that. Anyway, we're going on a walkabout. Thought this little trail here would be pretty cool to check out. Of course, it's before it's windy. Well, this one's got a little cave in it and a door. We're not going inside, but we'll stand here and have a look. Oh, a spot that's not windy. Cool. All right, let's, I guess, keep on walking. Yep. Oh, there's the wind. As you can tell, the wind did not abandon us. This trail didn't look as steep when I saw it from the ground. It starts there. No big deal, but then it just well, let's just go walk on it. Should have done my knee brace, but I did not. Did not bring the knee brace. That was not smart. Oof. The wind almost blew me over. That's scary. Oh, here we go. It's another cool view. Somebody has left their tent and it's being destroyed. I hope you're coming back, people. That would be cool to camp right there in the middle. That'd be really cool, actually. Okay, back down. Let's tuck back in here just for a moment. The wind sounds crazy up on the spire, you know, up there of the pinnacle. It's pretty neat. You know, so why would I come out kind of by myself on my birthday? You know, like I said before, my birthday is during the middle of the week. It's Tuesday. Everybody else has got to work. Normally I would too, but like I said, I took the week off from work. My birthday always falls on Memorial Day weekend. And sometimes, you know, it's just with anything else. It's good to get out maybe on your own, kind of left to your thoughts. Maybe you've got some stuff on your mind you need to sort out. And, you know, sometimes birthdays, you know, well, we all tend to, we think they're special, and they are special, but I'm not trying to be down on birthdays, but, a lot of times on birthdays you celebrate and all that, and a couple years ago, I was very blessed on my 50th birthday. Everybody came out and celebrated it with me. It was a huge weekend. I literally did no filming that weekend. That wasn't the point. The point of that was just having friends and family, friends from down the hill, Inland Empire area, friends from Long Beach, friends from Idaho came out and spent the weekend with us. Of course, the family, all the kids came out. Just, it was incredible, and it was really special to me. And, I don't remember last year doing much, but after that, the more you think about it, you realize it's probably, I hope not, but am I gonna, are you gonna have a birthday celebrated like that again? I don't know. So I hold that deep in the heart. That was a very, very special weekend with everybody there. And I think now what I like to do on my birthday after that is look back on that and remember it. And today, coming out in the desert, doing some riding and exploring, bringing you all with me. So, you're just going to hear me ramble about nothing probably. Doing a lot of that as I'm riding. The road to get across the valley over to here was about 10 miles on the road itself, and just have time to reflect and remember how blessed I am for all of all my family and all my friends. And I think that's what I'm remembering most today. Just remembering and thinking about how blessed I am for everybody that's in my life. Anyway, what do you say we head back down to the Quadmobile and get back to exploring the Pinnacles. Welcome to the Trona Pinnacles, a national natural landmark. Mono Lake up by Mammoth. What's in here? Oh, logbook of some sort. I had to shut that right away. I was afraid the pages were just gonna fly right on out. Anyway, let's get a bite to eat, and then we'll continue on our way round Pinnacles.
Okay, folks. Well, we're all loaded up and safely tied down. I didn't do any more trying to record anything outside, mainly because it is too windy to even think. I couldn't even hardly close the door to the truck. But anyway, we're not done. We still have literally one more stop that we're going to make. And I'll honestly kind of fill you in when we get there. But we've had a pretty good ride so far. This morning it's only about 12:30, so we did pretty good on time. Pretty good morning of riding so far. That wind coming back though, ooh man, never have I ever dealt with wind like that before. And unfortunately, going back on Trona Road as we head in a westerly sort of direction, we're going to be in that same headwind. So that's not going to be fun either, but that's okay. At least we won't be, in the quad with our head being shaken around by the wind and deafened by the sound of it through the helmet. Oop, there's a bump, and there's another bump. All good. Anyway, I'm going to catch back up to y'all when we get to our final stop here. Folks, it's pretty cool. Obviously my reactions are not good enough, but you've got naval air activity out here, so you get fighter jets in the area, and I just got buzzed by one, and I can still see it, but if I point the camera at it, it won't come out. But that was pretty cool. You remember that happened to us once. My wife and I were out riding out in the Barstow area in that Superior Valley area, and we got buzzed by a fighter jet, and that was pretty cool. But anyway. Well, we've arrived at our final destination here on this journey, this birthday adventure. We're at the Major Michael Adams X-15 Memorial. I'm going to try to get out and do some filming. We'll see how it goes. It's still, windy. It's blowing 112, 20 miles an hour out there, and we'll just see if the audio works at all. But, let's go check it out. Oh, it doesn't seem to be as bad here as it was where we left. Oh, no, there it is. Yeah, of course. All right. Let's check it out. I did a video on this place like 4 years ago, not long after I first really kicked off the channel, and I might end up reusing some of that here. Yeah, check it out. So the X-15 program was hypersonic flight research. These were rocket-powered things. I think they were rocket-powered. I don't know what I'm talking about, but they were aircraft that were dropped from the bottom of a bomber, and I can't remember which type of bomber at the particular moment. They're dropped off the bottom of a bomber, and then the rockets fired, and then they took off. Of course, down here is the full radio transcript. Most of his flight, once he reached maximum altitude, 266,000 feet. And then, of course, you can see the wreckage there. And we're standing pretty much where the wreckage was located. I thought this place was really cool. You know, they've got this B-52 bomber. It looks like that's what they used for dropping. I just discovered that because I'm looking at the billboard here. It's pretty neat. So Michael Adams flew 7 times in an X-15. Maximum altitude was his last flight, of course, where he died. 3,570 miles per hour was his max speed, 266,000 feet. That's Mach 5.2 according to the board there. That's crazy. Of course, that was 1967. It's a cool picture of the aircraft just kind of hanging out underneath the wing of the bomber there. And then, of course, I think here's a sign-in thing, but I don't think we're gonna sign in today. Well, maybe we will. I'll get the camera set down and get signed into it. You know, when we first got here, the wind didn't seem all that bad, but it's bad now. The floor is also an X. Let me show you. Can you see the floor? It's an X. Yeah, I don't know if that came out or not. There's also a thing over here. Some people have put some flags. In memory of his contribution, Major Michael Adams, United States Air Force, the first in-flight fatality of the American space program. He was considered an astronaut. Pretty neat. And I don't know if y'all caught the sign on the way in. I think that's a different sign than the last time I was here. You know, the people that helped set this place up and preserve it, they reached out to me through, I think through YouTube comment chat, if I'm honest. And they were telling me that they did some upgrades around here and maybe the sign, and this sign does look really nice. The sign looks really nice. OHV funds, Bureau of Land Management. Last time I was here, this was actually standing. It's got a little model of the X-15 there on the flag. I'm not sure why it's no longer standing. I don't know, it's laying down in the direction of the wind. Maybe that has something to do with it. Definitely has something to do with it. Anyway, whatever gaps I miss on this visit, I'll fill in from the previous video. I may insert bits of it, or maybe I'll just link it in case y'all want to see it. But I'm going to go ahead and maybe take a photograph or two. I'm going to sign into the logbook here and catch back up with you back in the truck. Well, I don't really know how much of that is going to be audible with that wind, but the site's pretty cool. I'll pull some clips and excerpts in from my original video, and then I'll go ahead and link it as well that I made about this site. Did a bunch of research on it because I found it really interesting, who placed it there, when they placed it there, all those things. I even took the radio transcript, and my son and I did our best to kind of recreate the radio transmission. Hopefully anybody who hears it finds it to be respectable. I meant it out of respect. Anyway, so we're just going to get this thing back on the highway. We've got about an hour and a half or so before we get home. How many miles is it? 77 miles? Not too bad. That's a bump right there. Bump. There we go. About 77 miles, about an hour and a half. So I will probably... Yes, I know. Thank you. That was Emily, the GPS. Anyway, I'll catch back up with you when we get a little further on down the road, or maybe perhaps just get home. Well, folks, we are just about getting back to the house, and let me tell you, it's pretty close to as windy here as it was out there in the middle of the desert. Of course, you know, I live in the middle of the desert, so that's to be expected anyway. Thank y'all for coming out with me. I really appreciate it. Spending the birthday kind of out riding on my own, but all of you came along with me. Probably take a couple of weeks to get this edited and out, just because of all of the filming. But anyway, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. But I guess that'll do it. In the meantime, y'all ride safe. We'll see you later. Bye-bye now.